And hello, everyone. Bo Williams, along with Chief Meteorologist Ken Weathers. As we did last night, wanted to get back together with you tonight to kind of walk you through the latest concerning this winter storm that really just not impacting us, but a good chunk of the southeast and even into the, lower parts of the Midwest and obviously east as well. It's a good part of the country's been impacted by this storm.
And the impacts are going to last a while.
Right. So cold on the back end.
Yeah. It's going to be a long weekend and upcoming week for many across the U.S.
Yeah, and I know you've been talking about this for a while. So kind of walk us through where we are as far as how you forecast this and where we are as far as on your little chart here.
Yeah, so starting over this past weekend, we saw this kind of a signal.
Right.
Of course, this is when the social meteorologists, as I call them, start posting their 24 to 48 inches of snow.
Right.
People, if you've lived here long enough, one, you know that's not going to happen.
Right.
Two, what about the blizzard? Yeah, have you seen another one since you've been alive?
Right, it's been a long time.
It's hard to get snow here in East
And as
Tennessee.
you showed us yesterday, which still blows me away, as this thing has been well out in the Pacific until really today, when it finally made landfall in California. So it's hard to even get a pinpoint. The fact that we even know the general area where it's going to go is amazing, but all the details is why you can't really pinpoint it that early.
Right. So we saw that pattern last weekend. As we started to go through the week, we said, is this looking more or less likely? Well, something was looking more likely.
Yeah.
But from that point, we said, this is not a big snowmaker.
Right.
Not just the 24 to 48 or whatever was going out, but probably not a significant snowstorm. So as we got 3 to 5 days out, we were a lot more confident that, this is going to be more of a wintry mix. So now we're to the point where we're a little more confident with amounts, locations, and the impacts that we're expecting across the area. Now, you mentioned, where is this storm? It's starting to dive towards Southern California there. It's still close to 2,000 miles away. But do you see that plume of moisture? That's the subtropical jet.
Okay.
So think of this like a stick that's sitting in a stream.
Okay.
That's kind of off to the side.
Okay.
Right? It's just kind of spinning.
Yeah.
It's kind of waiting there. You see how it gets caught like in a little eddy?
Right.
But as soon as that stick gets into the main stream, the main flow, it's going to go quick.
Yeah, there it goes. Yeah.
So that's what's going to happen.
It's getting on the
this.
interstate. Yeah.
And one good thing, again, you mentioned that it was out over the water. You're not getting the typical balloon launches that we do daily across the United States to get data fed into the forecast.
But now
models.
we're actually starting to get better ideas.
Yeah, we actually had a hurricane hunter that flew into this yesterday,
that's
did
something.
the dropsondes through it, got the data, and that data started coming into the forecast models last night and continues today. And we're now to the point where we also can see the higher resolution models. And what I mean by that is the finer. It's like basically you're watching a 4x3 TV. Now we're getting a little closer to the high definition.
Okay.
We're getting closer to 4K, and over the next day, we're 8K. So improving, put it in that perspective. So here's kind of what we're looking at. We talked about this impacting a large area. Yeah. Those are all the advisories.
Look at all the states impacted.
Everything in pink is a winter storm warning.
Wow.
Everything in blue is a winter storm watch. Now, there's similar criteria. A warning, remember, a difference between a watch and a warning. Watches could happen. Warning expected to happen. So that's the difference. Now, I would not be surprised at all to see us get upgraded to a winter storm warning in some of our area through the day tomorrow, because you're within 24 to 48 hours.
Right, because you can see where West Tennessee, even in this, and even, part of Middle Tennessee there is obviously shaded in pink.
Because it'll get there soon.
Right.
Let's talk about the track of this. Again, it's going to stay south. It gets caught up in that subtropical jet. Right along the I-10 corridor, basically, and moves east. And we talked about this as well. There are 3 potential paths that this could take across the region, let's say, as we go through the weekend. Track 3, the bottom one, that's unlikely. It's not going to keep going towards the south. If that happens, even no snow, no mix for us. 2 is a snow lover's dream.
Sure.
Because that is the perfect path for us to see snow if cold air's in place, which it will be.
That's when we're all sledding over at Lakeshore.
But like we've said, this is not an all-snow event. We weren't confident in that magic track. It's more the number one. It's coming right up the valley. And here's why we know that. People are like, well, how can you know if you didn't have all the forecast data? Well, we can show you what we were watching. And notice this. This is where we are right now. There's our cold air.
Yep.
very cold.
Yeah, really
This is
cold.
at about 6,000 feet up. Okay.
Okay.
So our storm system, you can see it spinning there off of Los Angeles. Watch what happens as we go into the weekend. I want you to notice the lobe of cold air that's going through the
Right.
panhandle of Oklahoma and Texas.
Yeah.
See how that's going down?
Dipping down, sure.
Look what it's doing. It's
Oh, yeah.
bringing
Bring up that warmer air.
that
Yeah.
warmer air. Again, this is at 6,000 feet, not at the surface.
Okay.
So this is what was telling us it's taking that track number one, not track two.
Gotcha.
Definitely not track three.
Right.
Okay.
Gotcha.
So this is why, as the storm system rounds the base of this, what we call a trough, or that big dig
Yeah.
of that colder air through Oklahoma and Texas, it's coming north.
Gotcha.
And
Okay.
that's why we're expecting to see more of a wintry mix and mess compared to all snow.
Oh, snow. Okay, yeah, because and you might be talking about this a little bit later about how we get freezing
Yeah.
rain, but yeah, it's because the upper atmosphere is where we got rain, and I won't steal your thunder. You can explain this
No,
later.
it's fine. But remember how we just said that's 6,000
Yeah,
feet up.
right.
So temperatures are very warm.
Sure.
Not at the surface.
Right.
It's cold. These are surface temperatures when you head out the door Saturday morning. We're talking teens and 20s.
It's gonna be cold.
That is very cold. Now, the moisture has not moved in at this point, and that's kind of what we've been talking about. It's going to be a little bit later. That's the main thing we've gotten from the sample data from the Hurricane
Yeah,
Hunter.
pinpoint a little bit better now.
We-
Like you were
we
saying, we're
know
now
the
going
speed
to
it's
be an
moving.
8K now, right?
I always say it's like, okay, if you're taking a car trip from LA to Knoxville,
Yeah.
and I called you as I'm leaving, okay?
Okay.
I'm kind of guessing when you're going to
Where
get
you
here.
right.
If you haven't called and told me, hey, I'm stuck in Flagstaff, then
Right.
I don't know where you are.
Exactly.
Well, the storm system has called us, so to speak.
Right.
We have a
We know
better
exactly where they
idea of
are.
when it's
Yeah,
going here.
okay.
So it's slowed down. So this is 7 a.m. I don't think we're going to have any issues in the morning.
Yeah.
Okay. In fact, the moisture is slowly moving in close to lunchtime, the way it's looking. So I would say the closer we get to and beyond lunchtime,
Yeah, you can see right there, 12 o'clock.
that's
okay.
when things will go downhill pretty quickly.
Okay.
But this is our best opportunity to see snow,
Snow. Okay.
across the
So
earth.
on the front end of this thing.
Right.
Okay.
As the moisture additionally moves in, because one, remember that warm nose, we call it, hasn't moved up in our area.
Okay. Right.
The seesaw effect hasn't happened yet.
Right.
So we're still cold at most levels.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yeah.
It's coming in, but
Right.
not here yet.
Okay.
Watch. You'll be able to see it when it happens.
Yep.
Oh,
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
There it is.
Okay.
So we're talking about later afternoon, evening on Saturday.
Okay.
That warm air starts to come in at those higher elevations at about 6,000 feet. We see the switch over to more of a freezing rain mix
About
across the area.
sunset. That's what we're looking at here. Around 6
Maybe a little before.
before sunset.
I'd
Okay.
say in between, it'll go from snow to sleet, which
Okay.
is the ice pellets.
yep.
Then it goes to freezing rain.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah.
Watch as we go for overnight Saturday.
Wow.
Ugh.
Yeah.
This is midnight. All that pink, that's freezing rain.
Yeah.
All right, let's go a little bit further. Take it into the morning hours.
Start seeing some rain
That's
moving in there.
sunrise. Yeah, that's heavy rain.
Yeah.
So the yellow and orange, now we're back to heavy rain, and it's pushing that warm air not only, aloft, but at the surface northward.
Okay.
So we're slowly scouring out that colder air which gets trapped here in the valley,
Okay.
right?
Yep.
That continues to move north. It's all rain as we go
Wow.
through the day Sunday. Heavy rain.
Yeah. Because you were saying
Good.
this thing's really packing a lot of moisture.
It is. We'll get to that too in just
Yeah.
a second. This is good and bad.
Okay.
Good in the sense it could help to warm the ice that would be on any roads and
Okay,
maybe
sure.
some power
So it
lines.
might help travel
It's
a
helping
little
to
bit and-
melt a
yeah,
little bit.
okay.
Okay. But you're also seeing a lot of rain
Yeah.
on dry ground. We're in a drought condition
Right.
still. We could be talking about some isolated flooding as this starts to wrap up later Sunday evening.
That's crazy. A
All
little
right.
bit of everything, it seems like.
So this is why we say it's an extended storm.
Okay.
We're basically going from about midday Saturday to midnight Sunday.
Yeah, I can see there about 11 o'clock. Is that where you've stopped it here? Yeah.
Because yesterday we were thinking more of sunrise Saturday to sunset Sunday.
Right.
But it's a later because of the arrival times
Right,
later.
right. Slowing
All
down
right?
a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk about this.
Okay.
On set, we mentioned sleet, snow. That's our best opportunity to see it. We're not expecting a lot.
Nope.
Again, we've said this all week. This is not the 24 to 48 inches that you've been seeing on social media from others. It's not going to be that.
Right.
We've never said that.
But you mentioned when you look at that
Yeah.
and you say, okay, yeah, but if you're heading up toward Kentucky, 1 to 2, But if you've got business taking you towards Cincinnati and places like, you're talking about a whole other ball game.
Exponentially higher totals, because those social media posts you were seeing, about half of that is going further north.
Right. So if you've got, if you're driving that direction, or even if you're flying, you're definitely going to be calling ahead this weekend. You might be able to get out of McGee Tyson. Well, maybe you won't get out of McGee Tyson, not because it's bad here, as bad as it's going to be, say, in a Cincinnati, I don't know if Detroit, but Cleveland or something like that, or in the Northeast.
Call ahead.
Call ahead, yeah.
Make sure, check your flights.
All right, so here's what you're talking about as far as this is this ice totals that we're looking at? Okay.
So this is your freezing rain.
Yeah.
Trace to 1/10 of an inch, I think, is a pretty good bet for most areas. You notice how I have that not really highlighted over the Smokies, like too warm?
Yeah, and we talked a little bit about this last night, too, just because, I guess, elevation, right? Because you're saying the warmer air is going to be a little bit higher.
Right, remember I showed you that's what's heading our way, that 800, it's called 850 millibars. It's a height in the atmosphere. It's about 6,000 feet. Wow. The Smokies, 6,600 feet.
Yeah,
so they may see all rain out of this entire event.
And you even brought up, and I remember it well, what was it, last year, I guess?
2 years ago.
2 years ago, yeah, where we had snow here in the valley, but if you drove to Pigeon Forge or to Gatlinburg, it was green.
Rain.
Yeah.
So this could be a very similar situation where they don't see as much. My biggest concern right now is north and west, because it's taking longer for that cold air to scour out. And you remember Saturday morning, they were in the teens.
Right. Cold.
It's going to take a long time to warm up.
And you were saying when you see that 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch.
Yeah.
That's when we're talking about totals that you're talking power outages. Well, there you go. Good. I'm glad you brought that back up. That really kind of describes what they could be in for up in that northwestern part there.
And I don't want to discount what we see. 1/10 of an inch, that top category, those are still some slick bridges and overpasses.
It doesn't take much for you to lose the grip. Your tires will lose grip. Yeah.
But I do want to stress, if we only see those lower amounts, that's not enough to cause power outages in most instances.
And that's good. Yeah.
But when we get to that 1/4 inch, you start to see power outages go up. You start to see dangerous travel conditions. We see those higher 1/2 inch totals like I think we could see across the northern plateau into Kentucky, which is going to be on top of snow.
And these are some rural areas too. Yeah.
Then I think we're talking about extensive tree damage, higher power outages, and bigger concerns there. Because again, this is freezing rain now on top of those 1 to 2 inch totals of snow we were looking at earlier.
Yeah. Hey, real quick before you advance here, I just want to remind everybody, you can chime in here online as you're watching us right now. If you've got a question, I know we had someone comment from southern Georgia, looking back to the 90s, a bad storm they had there. So they, you know, when you go through something like this, and you remember 93, obviously I know you were here. We've all been through, you know, storms in our lifetime. There are those that just stick out in your head. So when you see stuff like this, obviously you start looking back on that. But I just want to let everybody know, if you do have a question, chime in. We'll try to get it answered for you right here while we're on. But again, you can jump back into this. I just want to remind everybody.
And we talked about this last night. Some people may be saying, well, what causes these different types of precipitation? And this is just an easy way to explain it. If you look on the far right, that's the cloud base at the top. So moisture falling from the cloud at that elevation at this time of year is going to be a snowflake. If the air is below freezing for the entire column from the base of the cloud to the ground, you're going to see snow. And that's why I think initially we're going to see snow.
Right.
But remember, that warm air starts to nose its way in. That's why I think we transition to sleet, because there's that thinner layer of warm air. So the snowflake melts. Remember, it's a 6-sided dendrite. It's a hexagon. So the edges melt, right?
Right.
But then it falls back through a layer that's below freezing, and it
kind of refreezes,
solid again.
Solid, yeah.
And it is. It's more solid. It's like the typical, I can pick up a very fluffy snow, but once I squeeze it in my hand, it gets a lot harder, right? That's a snowball.
Right, packs.
Same kind of thing happens to the atmosphere. Now, if that warmer layer is thicker, which is what this is going to end up being, then it melts right after it falls from the cloud, stays as liquid all the way to the ground, and then freezes on contact where those road surfaces, where the everything is below the freezing mark.
Yeah, and that's just about everywhere.
And it's misleading, too, because you look out the door, it's just rain.
Right. You don't realize till you step out on your front porch or take that first step, and next thing you know,
it's freezing on contact. And just, again, for fun, you can think of it this way. Freezing rain is a glazed donut.
Yeah.
Sleet are the sprinkled donuts, and snow is the powdered kind of donuts.
I love glazed donuts. I don't like freezing rain.
I agree. I think I'd rather have powdered in both senses.
Any day.
Here's something interesting as well. It's going to be very cold, as we mentioned, but with the delayed onset of this moisture, coming a little bit later in the day.
Okay.
People are going to be out and about driving. It's Saturday, and it's fine. Go ahead and do what you need to do in the morning.
Right.
Notice how the road temperatures are a little bit warmer midday on Saturday. Watch those as we go into the afternoon. This is where we get our problem.
Dropping, yeah,
this is where I'm concerned about the bad travel conditions for the plateau up into portions of Kentucky, because our snow has started to fall, and we're also probably starting to see that freezing rain come down.
Okay.
This is 11 o'clock. We're starting to see those road temperatures come down even closer to the Knoxville area, and that trend continues overnight with this freezing rain starting to fall.
Yeah.
It could be a rough go early Sunday morning at 6 a.m.
Yeah, and that's why you definitely, like you said, you might look out and everything looks great until you step outside.
Yeah.
So, and if you are out Saturday, you also kind of want to monitor those conditions too, especially if you're going to be out and it's later in the day. Keep an eye on things. When you start to see things start to change, it may be the time to head back home.
Watch what happens as we get closer to midday.
Okay.
Remember, I talked about it's getting all rain now.
Right, and this is on Sunday.
It's just taking time to scour that cold air out across our higher elevation areas.
Okay.
Because it's a battle. Cold air still trying to push south as warm air is pushing up from the north. But I do think road conditions improve pretty quickly as we go through the day on Sunday.
Got a question coming in there as we're taking a look at this. Will wind be a factor or a big factor?
Great question. No.
Okay.
We're not going to have extensive wind with this, which is you're always concerned about if you've got freezing rain or ice on power lines, trees hanging down. It's not going to be overly windy as the system's moving through. Strong winds aloft. Like higher elevations, they're going to be very strong. Up in the Smokies, I would not be surprised if we have some kind of a wind advisory or a high wind warning. They could be gusting 60+ miles per hour at Mount LeConte.
Okay.
Not down here.
Right. Oh, yeah.
All right.
Okay.
So this is my impacts map, meaning overall from freezing rain, snow to where road conditions could be at its worst. And we just talked about this a minute ago, where a couple of years ago, Gatlinburg saw mainly rain.
Right.
I think they will see less impacts in some of those areas compared to here in Knoxville and back to the north and west across the region.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yeah.
All right. Let's go ahead a little bit. What I want to talk about, we mentioned how much moisture there is in the atmosphere.
Right.
Look at this. This is Saturday and Sunday combined. And this is total liquid. So any snow that falls if you melted, any sleet that falls if you melted, any rain and or freezing rain.
Look at Kingston, 3.7, Oak Ridge, almost 4.
Yeah, again, these are estimates, but I don't think they're far off. I'd say between 1 and 3 inches, definitely a possibility. So we could be going from a freezing rain threat to a flood threat.
Which creates a whole nother set of problems.
That's and what's going to happen if we see 1 to 3 inches of rain? It doesn't go anywhere, at least not in a quick amount of time, right? So here's the next problem. Look at the temperatures overnight Sunday into Monday after that rain has stopped.
So maybe Monday morning, especially if you live those areas, not a lot of not good drainage or whatever. Give yourself a few hours, or at least check the roads before you do head out Monday morning. Yeah, don't be in a big rush.
And so those areas, especially where you see those single digits to our plateau counties in Kentucky, if you've lost some power or you're having some issues with power, that's cold air that's not going anywhere anytime soon. That's really cold.
Yeah, that is. Look at 9 degrees in some spots.
Yeah, and that, again, we're not talking much in the way of wind, which is good.
Right.
The only plus out of this whole thing, that 1 to 3 inches, this is going to help our drought condition.
It does help, and it's hard to believe we're still talking about this, but we are.
It's expanded. That kind of burnt orange shading from Wartburg down to Tellico Plains into the Smokies, that's severe drought. I mean, that you see that like in the fall or late summer and fall.
Usually we're not talking about that in mid to late January.
No, you don't. So that's the only good thing I'd say about this. So let's break it down and maybe a little easier way to understand it and look at it.
Okay.
Monday morning, you're going to be fine if you have any outdoor plans you need to go do.
Saturday morning.
What did I say?
Monday.
Saturday. Sorry. Saturday morning. It's been a long week. So Saturday morning, yes, you head out the door. Most are dry. Travel impacts are low. I will say, as soon as the moisture starts, lunchtime into the afternoon,
that's where you got to keep an eye on those conditions, right?
It'll go downhill quick because we'll see that sleet and snow.
Okay.
Then, as I mentioned, the warmer air comes in aloft, still kind of cold at the surface, so we're seeing more of a freezing rain threat, especially from sunset Saturday into the morning hours on our Sunday. That's where I think travel could be the worst. That's why we have it as high. Now, the down arrow on high Monday or Sunday morning, meaning travel conditions could improve as that switches to rain.
Sure.
And temperatures climb a little bit.
Okay. Because see, by afternoon, you've got it at medium.
Yes.
So,
the reason why, I think, again, road conditions are improving, except we may be talking about flooding. So
Yeah.
it's again,
Yeah, again, if you live in an area where you do see that standing water on the roadways, we get those heavy downpours.
On a normal day.
That's what I'm saying. On a normal
Yeah.
day, it could be any month out of the year. Watch for that. There's a good possibility maybe dealing with that again come late Sunday.
and then what we just said, overnight, Sunday to Monday,
Those areas will freeze.
it's going to freeze. As cold as it is, single digits and teens, that is going to be a problem across the area the way it's looking.
Okay, so there it is. That's the lay of the land, how things are going to play out there Saturday, Sunday. So walk us through now. Now, tonight and tomorrow.
Quiet.
Yeah, this is when you need to kind of go through, get your list together, run errands, what have you. This is the time to do it.
Think about medications.
Yeah.
If you need to get those, I have to actually pick up a prescription tomorrow. I'll be doing that. Maybe think about getting some ice melt just in case the area starts to see the threat for the freezing rain.
I saw a lot of people line up today to fill up their propane tanks for their
Good
outdoor
idea.
grills or whatever in case they lose power. They got a place to go
And
and
use
cook.
those correctly as well.
Yes.
Be careful with carbon monoxide. Make sure that your smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors are working. But you have tonight and you have tomorrow to do that.
Okay.
In fact, I'd say the first half of the day, Saturday even, you have the
Yeah,
opportunity.
it looked like it. Yeah, the morning hours. I will say tomorrow will be a little cooler than what we've seen today and yesterday.
58 yesterday, 51 today, 44 tomorrow. It's kind of the beginning of that colder air coming in. Tomorrow will be breezy. Winds are coming down the valley. That's what's helping feed this cold air coming into our area. And that's why it's going to feel quite chilly for tomorrow, but dry. And again, I moved the probabilities of our rain Saturday at 100%. I moved them back to 80 because I don't want you to think it's going to rain all day. Again, it's dry in the morning.
Right.
It's later in the day, we'll ramp it up. And Sunday is going to rain. It's going to be heavy rain. That 31 you see Sunday morning, that's probably an overnight temperature because I think in some areas it's climbing. It's climbing towards daybreak. That's why I say the worst conditions are certainly going to be from Saturday, especially late afternoon, evening, to pre-sunrise on Sunday.
Okay, that's when you need
And
to
then
be
look at those
careful.
temperatures next week, Bo.
I mean, look at, was it 8 degrees? Look at Tuesday.
You know what? I think that I'm being conservative with the 8.
It could be colder.
Let me explain.
Okay.
Okay, all the snow that's going to be to our north, with this storm coming in, that Arctic air that's dropping south, when it moves over that snow, it doesn't moderate. It doesn't warm up.
Okay. Oh.
So if we had snow on the ground, we could be talking about below zero temperatures, but we won't.
Yeah, we don't have to worry about that.
We won't.
Right.
But that air that's coming down doesn't have as much time to moderate before it gets here or warm up. So I would not be surprised. The record, as you see, is 2.
2, yeah.
We could be within 2 to 3 degrees of that.
I'm all about records. That one I'm not so sure I want to
agree.
go into the books with.
But this is the problem as well. If you happen to lose power and you're especially in one of those rural areas, it's going to be a while before they'll be able to work on that and before it even warms up. You have to have an alternate source of fuel, especially in some of those outlying areas that I mentioned on the plateau into Kentucky that I think will have the higher freezing rain totals.
And this is also, too, now we're getting into that time. You know, we've had some warm days. Tomorrow won't be horrible. I mean, it'll be 44, but not horrible. But it's when you get into this pattern, when you start thinking about your pipes and things about your home.
Absolutely.
Right? Even
Absolutely.
your cars, your batteries and things like that.
And especially if you don't have power.
Yeah, right.
That's going to be problematic. But if you do, it'd still be a good idea. Think about any of those pipes that face an outside wall.
Right.
Just go ahead and open. You want to open those doors so air can circulate in and around those.
Make sure you don't have those hoses out there. You want to
Outside
cover
faucets.
those spigots, those faucets. Yeah, definitely make sure
Disconnect
there's
them.
covers on it. Otherwise, that could be big trouble for you. You don't want to get in that situation. But that's what we're talking about next week. That's what I think we're going to be hearing a lot of issues about, those frozen pipes and things like that. And the plumbers are going to be busy.
You know, another thing we're going to start to
units.
see by the end of next week, heavy rain goes down into the asphalt.
Oh,
It freezes.
pothole season.
There we go.
Yeah.
It freezes. As water freezes, it expands, right? It's going to push up on that asphalt. Once it melts, the asphalt collapses when somebody drives over it, and they're going to be blooming like spring daisies.
Yeah, and you know, something we haven't even talked about is the damage that will happen, and it will happen. In Knoxville, we know, if you've lived here for several years, you know we're just pothole prone here.
Absolutely.
Because of where we're
And
located.
this is a perfect
yeah.
opportunity for it to happen.
Yeah, so I guess also make sure your insurance is paid up and you're ready to go, because a lot of people will be looking flat tires, rims, what have you.
But if you see it, report it. so
Yeah,
they can get out and patch it.
And you know, whether it's reach out to the, you know, there's the different numbers, the city, the counties, TDOT as well, depending on where you're located, and they'll want to know, they'll try to get out crews. Everything they have something called a cold patch, they can get out there and take care of that.
Yeah.
So
they can't do full resurfacing this time of year, but they can at least fill it so it's not causing damage to
temporary
vehicles.
patch. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I didn't even think about that, but that's a great point. That's something we'll be dealing with next week. And beyond, really, until we get to springtime. And even in springtime, we'll start to see some of those areas open up. Okay, so again, real quick, as far as before we let everybody go here, one more time, kind of walking everybody through what we need to know here in the
I was going to try to go.
days or
I was going to try to
hours
go back so we can get that kind of the time frame, the hour by hour timeline here.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. So
and maybe
bring that back
we'll
in.
end up leaving this up for people for a little bit as well.
So we'll take it full here so you can read along with us here. But walk us again through this one more time, because this is what everybody wants to know right now. We've kind of thrown a lot of things at everybody. So this is key.
Tonight, fine.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, fine.
Okay. Got that.
Saturday morning, fine, the way it's looking.
Okay.
I think the later in the afternoon we go Saturday, as soon as it starts to fall, the snow starts to fall or sleet. Again, I don't know if I mentioned it earlier, cold air is very dry. We know that. That's why your skin cracks, right? It takes all the moisture out. The atmosphere is the same way in the sense that initially this moisture falling from the clouds is going to be evaporating before it reaches the ground.
Okay.
But I mentioned this last night as well. What it does is it helps cool the air. Just like we mentioned, you get out of the shower, it's cold, right? The water's evaporating from your skin, and it's a cooling process. That's why you sweat. Sweat evaporates to cool off your body. Atmosphere happens the same way. As moisture falls through drier air, it cools it. So even if we were to make it up to 34 degrees or so before this starts to fall, as dry as the air is, as soon as it starts to precipitate, it's going to get colder and stay colder.
There you go.
So as we go into Saturday afternoon, that's when I think the travel impacts will deteriorate.
Yeah, overnight definitely.
Get worse.
That is a hard word, though, you know?
Get worse.
Yeah, get worse. I like that. Yeah.
Easier to say.
Yeah. But overnight, it does get worse.
It is, and that's our time frame. And so I'd say late Saturday afternoon to pre-sunrise Sunday.
Church Sunday morning, it will be interesting to see. Just be careful.
Yeah.
A lot of churches, I have a feeling, either going to delay or maybe cancel some early services. It'll depend. I'm not going to say they are, but you'll definitely want to, check your church online. Maybe they've got some type of text or whatever. I'm sure their websites
that's
too.
a good thing as well. During COVID, a lot of them did online services.
Right.
So maybe this is a great opportunity to think about doing that.
Yeah. So it's just something to keep in mind. Just don't run out, get in the car and go, or even back. You're in your garage, everything's great. You back out in your driveway, and the next thing you know, you're sliding down the middle of your street. So just be careful. Not speaking from experience, wink, wink, but those things do happen.
I've had the questions already. What about schools Monday?
Yeah.
They'll decide, I'm sure, through the day Sunday.
Yeah.
And some may wait until Monday morning. But
they might just out of precaution also to kind of get, or they get a better gauge. And some of them may do a couple. You may think, well, everything's fine, but they may still. You have to. Dr. Ricewick had an interesting point, especially when it comes to, say, Knox County, and the fact that we are so big.
Yeah.
Some areas you may walk out and everything looks great, but there will be other parts of the county, for whatever reason, sometimes it's sunshine or what have you, elevation, they don't dry out. They don't get the sun, so there will be some slick spots possibly.
Different types of road.
Exactly. He was talking about, you have a Kingston Pike, but then you also have gravel roads and maybe some not as maintained, even paved roads, so that we'll still have need some help, drying out and what have you. So, of course, we're going to have all the information for you here at WAT. We'll have it online too on our website. School closures and delays. You can be checking that, especially later in the day on Sunday into Monday morning. But this is something just really to kind of keep in mind. And as Kenji mentioned, we're going to keep this up for a while, even after we're done, so people can check this out for a little bit.
And we are going to have to wrap up here because we have to get ready for the 11 o'clock newscast. So hopefully you'll join us for that. But again, thanks for being with us here this evening.
Yeah, and keep it tuned to WATE, both on air and online. We'll be with you. Obviously, we'll have more updates tomorrow. We'll have it tonight at 11 o'clock. And then obviously throughout the weekend, we're going to be here for you. We're going to help you get through this and just kind of keep you on top of, when are we seeing the rain? When are we seeing the sleet? You'll be watching that. Obviously, freezing rain impacts as well. We'll be looking at the roadways. Just want to make sure you're safe. Yeah. All right.
For
Ken,
sure.
Thanks, buddy.
All right.
Thank you for joining us. We'll keep this up. You guys be safe and keep it tuned right here to WAT for all the latest.